Sustainable Development Goal SDG number 11 focuses on making cities better, resilient and safe. Based on these premises, Africa Direction and Plan International Zambia have embarked on a project dubbed Child and Youth Friendly Cities Project, which is aimed at influencing young people to participate fully and effectively in governance-related issues in Zambia. The program is being implemented in 3 townships of Lusaka, namely Chibolya, Mtendere and Kalikiliki. Today on your platform, a program that gives you an opportunity as members of the public to have views on matters affecting you, we look at the effectiveness of this project. I am your host, Macpherson Mukuka. Stay tuned. We are in Chibolya compound in Lusaka city, and I'm now joined by Webi Chingumbe, a youth of this area. Webi, welcome to your platform.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be on this platform.
Thank you. Just share with us, what do you understand by this project that has been implemented in this area, the Child and Youth Friendly Cities Project?
It's basically about human rights. It's basically about active participation of young people in shaping the urban environment we live in. Yes.
How well do you think young people can participate in issues of making better cities, especially here in Chibolya?
First of all, we start from an enabling environment. For instance, I will start from Chibolya. You know, Chibolya has been closed up for many years because of issues of drug and alcohol and also theft and crime levels here in this part of country. So we start from creating an enabling environment because that gives a platform then to young people to come up and participate. So we create an enabling environment through looking at the community, addressing issues that the community is facing and trying to attend to the challenges that make young people not come forth and take up leadership positions.
What are some of the hindrances do you think are there that are making young people not to participate in issues to do with governance?
There are many. First of all, we start from the attitude. You know, for a long time we've been told that young people are the future leaders of tomorrow. I think that is something that I differ with. I mean, leadership should start now. You can be a leader in your small group. You can be a chairperson for a club. You start from there. You don't need to wait for tomorrow to be a leader. So it starts from the attitude we have. We have this culture that doesn't give chance to young people to take part in leadership. So that really avoids or tries to hinder young people to take up leadership positions. From there, we have also the atmosphere. I talked about creating of enabling environment. For young people to come forward and take up leadership, there should be a platform that is enabling for them. But when you look at the community we live in, for instance in Chibolya, there are issues of drug trafficking, there are cartels, and you'd find that this kind of businesses, you know, they tend to mind every step that young people are taking. And there's resistance that comes with it because people fear that maybe you are trying to tamper with their businesses. And so there are these threats, and this is not the kind of environment that should need young people to be able to participate in leadership.
Barbara Nambula, welcome to your platform.
Thank you.
Okay. As a lady living in Chibolya, share with us, what are some of the challenges do you face?
Okay. As you have said, as for me being a lady, the problem which I'm facing right here in my community is that it's paining me a lot to see that some of my fellow youths are engaging themselves in drug abuse and the alcohol abuse, which is very bad to them. And the thing is that I'm encouraging my fellow youths that they should also join in what we are doing to keep themselves away from drug abuse and alcohol abuse. Yeah. And being a responsible youth is that we can go around the community telling our friends on how good it is to stay away from drug abuse.
You are still watching your platform, and this time around I'm joined by Joe Mwira, another youth from Chibodia. Joe, welcome to your platform.
Thank you very much.
Share with us what are some of the good things do you think have come with this child and youth friendly project that is being implemented in Lusaka?
Okay, there are a lot of things that has come with child and youth friendly. For example, they have taught us different things, basically about the drainage and lodge system, and the other things is about alcohol and drug abuse and many other things. For example, if I can talk about maybe alcohol and drug abuse, you'll find that alcohol and the drug abuse, they have helped the youth specifically from Chibodia. As you know, Chibodia has been dated that this place is where you find a lot of drugs and all those things. But if they educate the youths, then we've been empowered to move about in certain areas as a group, trying to educate our fellow youths about the effects of drug abuse and all those things. So they have really helped us a lot. And then the other thing is about waste management. They taught us about waste management, and with this we tried as the youth to organize ourselves in conjunction with the local councils in Chibodia, whereby sometimes back we were told we were given some things like wheelbarrows and the like. We tried to organize ourselves and participate. You know, this time is rainy season and there are such things as cholera and all that. So they have really helped us, and truly we can say that their program has not been in vain because it has helped us realize our potential as the youths.
Why do you think there is not so much participation from the youth when it comes to governance issues?
The problem is most youths are uninformed about the issues of governance. You know, for one to participate, they must have information. The information which you have acquired, it will enable you to participate.
Ngoza, welcome to your platform.
Thank you so much.
There is a project that is being implemented in line with Sustainable Development Goal number 11 of making cities safer, sustainable and free for all. And the project is called Child and Youth Friendly Cities, targeting people of your age. What do you make of this project that has come to this place?
Okay, for this project, it's really a great move, and it has really brought a change in this community. As to the youths, it has really implemented in our lives and impacted in our lives, because if we look back, there were days we are now able to relate with government issues. There were days when youths could think as though government is only for the adults. But through this program, we've learned that we need to associate with the government. We need to be part of decision making in our communities. And so being part of this program and it being initiated in these communities, it has really brought a change, and a change in the youths and the development of the community as well, because we are able to air out our voices and to complain about what's not right in this community as well.
What channels do you think you can use to be part of governance in this country?
Okay, being part of governance in this country, we've thought of it to relate with the area councillors and MPs of these communities, as in to talk about issues, because I cannot just start from here and go to the president, but we have leaders of our communities. So if there are things that are bothering us in these communities, I believe going to the councillors and the MPs is one of the first step that we are going to take as youths of Chibodia if there are issues that are pertaining to this community.
How well do you think these issues should be addressed in line with this project that has come here?
Okay, in line with this project, what I've realized in this community is that youths and the people that are indulging in these drug and illicit behaviors, it's because they are lacking something to do. So after this project came in, after we were taught, we also formed a group called YCF, Youth Cooperative Focus. And through this group, we also want to focus on young people and draw them closer. At least when they are away from such vices, it is very important they'll be kept busy. So it's like what it is said, an idle mind is a devil's workshop. So because their mind is idle, they indulge in those illicit behaviors. But now with this program and the knowledge that we have acquired, we are going to make sure that we at least pull a certain percentage of the youths that are indulging in those things to be occupied with what to do.
Thank you for still staying with us on this week's edition of your platform, where we're looking at the Child and Youth Friendly Cities project being implemented in 3 townships of Lusaka, Chibolya, Mtendere and Kalikiliki by Africa Directions in partnership with Plan International. We are in Chibolya compound, and right now I'm joined by Mr. Fravels Simwanza, who happens to be the chairperson of the Crime Prevention Unit in Chibolya. Mr. Simwanza, welcome to your platform.
Thank you very much.
Chibolya is infamously known for a number of illicit activities, talk of drug abuse, drug trafficking, and as a chairperson of the Crime Prevention Unit, what measures are you putting in place to ensure that these cases are brought to book?
Thank you very much for that question. Otherwise, as Crime Prevention Chairman, what we are doing, we are sensitizing the dangers of those illicit drugs that these people are engaged with, and most especially the youths. You know, the Bible says, idle mind is the devil's workshop. I know those guys, you cannot blame them, but they're supposed to do the right thing. There is no employment. So they look at maybe selling drugs and alcohol. Maybe that's the only way they can make money for their livelihood. While it's not the right thing to do. So we are trying to sensitize them to do the right thing.
Apart from unemployment being a major issue, obviously everywhere across the country, what are some of the issues you think are leading to a number of young people engaging in illicit activities in Chibolya?
I would think also education. You know, when several of them, they've completed their education, but going to college, they don't have finances. They can't go to college. They don't have money. The amount they charge is too much, so they cannot afford. That's why maybe they are finding themselves to these cheap shortcuts. They find themselves to be selling drugs and drinking alcohol, you know, things like that.
Okay. How well do you think the Child and Youth Friendly Cities project will help address the challenges facing the youths of Chibolya?
Yeah, Child and Youth Friendly Cities, they will help Chibolya, because the youths now, they are now focusing, they're trying to realize that what they are doing is wrong. There are some who are joining the same groups, because here in Chibolya we have got Kanyama Youth Project, where they teach skills. So through that, these groups which we have just formed, they will be introduced to KYP, so that they can also maybe learn other skills, unlike doing what they are doing, selling of drugs, which is wrong.
And what are some of the pressing issues do you think should be addressed in Chibolya with regards to the coming on board of the Child and Youth Friendly Cities project?
Yeah, but with the Child and Youth Friendly Cities, I don't think they should stop from here. They should just continue this project, so that on the way our youth should change. These groups, we had one group, now we've got 2. We need to have another group which will be formed. Maybe with the others who will come, they'll form another group. That way, maybe as the information goes on, to teach our youths on how bad the illicit alcohol and the drug abuse is, then maybe things, I know we cannot stop it completely, but we can reduce it to a certain level.
Thanks so much, Mr. Fravios Simwanza, for your time, and hope you continue working hard with the youths to ensure that crime in this area is dealt with once and for all.
Thank you so much.
There you have it. You are still watching your platform. We're just from talking to Mr. Fravios Simwanza, who happens to be the chairperson of the Crime Prevention Unit in Chibolya. Shortly, we'll be in Mtendere to talk to the youths and the authorities on similar matters vis-a-vis the Child and Youth Friendly Cities project that has been implemented in Chibolya, Mtendere and Karikliki. Stay tuned. We are glad that you could still stay with us on this week's edition of your platform. And I'm now joined by Vivian Ngoma, a youth of Mtendere. Vivian, welcome to your platform.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Being part of the Child and Youth Friendly Cities project, how does this make you feel?
I think it has made me feel important because of the things that the project is bringing out. It's enabling me to actually acquire certain knowledge that I didn't have. For example, we had the training in budget tracking. So you'd find the national budget would be announced, but at the end of the day, it would just end there. But after the training that we received on budget tracking, I think now I'll be able to track the budget if the national budget is released. So I think this project, being part of this project, it has given me an opportunity to receive some sort of training and to be aware of certain issues that I wasn't aware of in the past before the introduction of this project.
A number of youths across the country don't want to be part of governance-related issues for reasons probably based known to themselves. How is this helping you to be part of governance-related issues in the country?
I think being part of governance issues in the country, because they say youths are the future leaders of tomorrow. So if you shun away from governance issues, you won't be aware of what is going on around you. You may just be blaming certain things, the way certain things are happening. You may be blaming certain people. But if you do not partake in governance issues, you may not know who is responsible for what. So at the end of the day, you may end up pointing wrong fingers at people without knowing what's really going on. And also, when you're aware of governance issues, it also helps you to participate fully. Because you'd know you've got certain rights. For example, if you elect a councillor, most people just, when it's time for voting, they'll just go for voting. But they don't know that they still have a part to play in what goes on in those offices after the elections. So when you're aware of governance issues, you know what sort of, the kind of rights that you have and the kind of responsibilities that your leaders are supposed to have, and also the duties that you as a citizen you have.
Who do you think we should blame for lack of youth participation in governance-related issues?
I think mostly youths are the ones to blame, because you'd find that they would be invited for a certain thing, but if there's no money, they won't turn up. So I think youths are to blame. Well, if you want to be part of something, no one would chase you. Obviously, they would embrace you, but these days you'd find people that are mostly involved in governance issues are the old people. You'd find youths would tend to shun away from governance issues. So mostly I think the number one group to blame, it's the youths themselves.
Kapingula Musinga will come to your platform.
Thank you so very much, Macpherson.
Thank you. Today on the program we are looking at the Child and Youth Friendly Cities project that has been implemented by Africa Directions in partnership with Plan International Zambia. But from the starting point, share with us some of the challenges that youths of Mtendere are facing.
Well, I would segment them into basically four. The major challenges that the youths of Mtendere are actually facing. One of them is the lack of recreational facilities, as well as the lack of employment, not forgetting alcohol and drug abuse, as well as poverty. Those are the four things that the youth of Mtendere continue to face on a day-to-day life as youth of Mtendere.
Looking at the Child and Youth Friendly Cities project, and you being a youth of this area, what do you think is your role and also the role of other youths in bringing sanity in this area?
I think my role is to advocate for youth participation participation in governance issues, because throughout this whole project, the core is that there's participation from the youth in terms of governance, and all these things that we have actually highlighted as things that are affecting the young people and the youth of Mtendere border on or hinge on governance. So it is very important for me as a young person that has grown up in Mtendere to ensure that I get to advocate to other young people the need for them to actually join this bandwagon, to ensure that we actually advocate for certain things like having a recreational facility. As you are aware, we only have one football ground, which is just where Mahatma Gandhi is, and we need to ensure that we come together as the youths, and we need to have one voice. I think the biggest problem that we've continued to face, if you are a youth that seems to be so vibrant, you are actually being inclined to a certain political sphere because of, say, your vibrance. But I think we need to be above board as the youths of Mtendere and ensure that we know what we want and we stick together and we just advocate for governance, so that at the end of it all, the entire community and the youths and the children of Mtendere could benefit even as we go forward as a community.
Samuel Chipazi, welcome to your platform.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
Thank you. I am meant to understand that you've been actively involved in children-related activities, and you're also a football coach. Why did you think of coming up with a football team for young people?
Okay, thank you so much. In the first place, I thought football speaks the simple language that we all understand. So I thought of by doing that, it would be very easy for me to disseminate information that I want to tell my fellow young people and the kids at large.
What is the response from your fellow young people coming to you and you being their coach?
The response is overwhelming and good.
Do you think there is a link between governance and sport?
Exactly, there is. Because most of the time, these kids, they like recreational facilities, so we use sport to communicate with them.
Now, you find yourself here at Africa Direction sometimes, and there is this project that has come up. How are you working together with Africa Directions to ensure that young people participate in governance?
Africa Direction has played an important role in the sense that they have brought us together as youths of Mtendere, of which we've managed to form a group or an organization. Yes, such that we are influencing our fellow youths to participate in governance issues.
How do you go about it? What method did you use to bring about that influence in the young people?
The method that we use, most of the time, we've arranged days that we meet. We talk about sexual reproductive health, active participation in governance issues. Yes.
And going forward, what are your expectations from the Child and Youth Friendly Cities project?
Our expectation is that the youth of Mtendere stay away from illicit activities, involve themselves into productive things that will bring change into our community.
What you do is some form of voluntary work. And knowing the nature of the youths, most of the time they look forward to having an activity that gives them money at the end of the day. Now what you do is voluntary, and you rarely get paid. How well do you think you can convince the youths to be part of a voluntary activity as volunteers?
For now, we can consider that to be a challenge, but we are trying by all means to influence them that voluntary times it pays. At the end of the day, we want to see development into our community. So we are trying by all means to influence them, because for now, exactly as you mentioned, we're just doing it voluntarily. So it's a challenge.
Thanks so much, Samuel, for your time.
Thank you so much.
We are now in Kirikiriki compound where we'll be having a chat with the youths and the local authority just to have a view of what they think about the project. Right now I'm joined by Vivian Muchuda, a youth of Kalikiliki. Vivian, welcome to your platform.
Thank you very much. We have welcomed you.
For starters, what do you make of the situation of Kalikiliki with regards to youths being involved in illicit activities?
Illicit activities. We want the youths to join us in the small organization which we just started, and we are being trained by EDU. And we want our youths to stop drinking alcohol, to stop drugs, early pregnancies. We want all this to end in Kalikiliki. And if we do this, I'm sure our community will change and will come together as one.
What do you think are the causes to these problems, youth's involvement in illicit activities, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, and others?
I think we are lacking so many activities that we can do to make our youths busy. At least we can do some drama, it can keep them busy. Football, netball, it can keep them busy. Because if we start doing these things, they won't have that much time in going into pubs, bars, to go and drink beer, doing drugs, whereby friends, they influence them. But if we bring them together, we can make a better Kalikiliki.
Arnold Shamwaka, welcome to your platform.
Thank you.
We understand that you are a youth of this area, and I'm just from talking to one of your colleagues explaining a number of issues, especially on the challenges facing the youths of Kalikiliki. What do you think about the challenges, talking of drug abuse and alcohol abuse?
Well, okay, I should say that we have 4 focus areas in which we are looking at. And one of them being alcohol and drug abuse, which has greatly affected our communities, and lack of recreational facilities. I think with this is the reason why Plan International Zambia, in conjunction with AD, has come here in Kalikiliki to actually help us to eradicate these negative factors.
And as a partner in this, what do you think should be a young person's role in fighting drug and alcohol abuse, especially in Kalikiliki?
I think participation in good governance is a must key.
We understand that youths tend to stay away from issues of governance. Where do you think is the gap?
Oh, okay, I think mostly when we talk of youth participation in good governance, usually most people are politicizing it. So it's just an issue of sensitizing them, educating them, and actually make them see the picture of our presence in this fight of poverty.
What do you know that your fellow youths should know about participating fully and effectively in governance-related issues?
Oh, okay. One thing that they must know is that our decision is actually one that will impact the generation. Not only today, people must understand that we are not youths of tomorrow, we are youths of today. So that thing of youths of tomorrow should be erased, and we should be made aware that we are youths of today, and making a change starts now.
Mavis Banda, welcome to your platform.
Thank you.
Share with us the challenges that you face as a youth of Kalikiliki, other than seeing your friends indulging in illicit activities such as drug and alcohol abuse.
Yeah, the other one is a lot of young people here, young youths, are getting into marriage before their time. They are being married off. Some they get married because they want, and that's leads to alcohol and drug abuse.
Where do you think is the challenge? Why do you think they are getting into, despite them wanting, why do you think they are getting into early marriage?
Some of them, it's because they don't have finances to support them in schools. They don't have who to support them. That's why the only thing they think is right for them is getting married and abusing the drugs.
And how do you think youth can be part of governance issues in Zambia, and starting from here, Kalikiliki?
We are supposed to, maybe to be involved in things like to be like to be volunteers of something, like in the clinic they say that they need volunteers just to volunteer. Some people, they don't have anything to do. They think that drinking and smoking daga is the only thing to do. So maybe we could be volunteering something. We have something to do at hand. Yeah, maybe that can help. We can have our voice heard through that.
Thank you so much, Mavis, for your time.
Thank you. You're welcome.
There you have it. You are still watching your platform, and shortly we'll be talking to Martin Phiri, the chairperson of the youth in Kalikiliki. Stay tuned. You're still watching your platform, and I'm now joined by Martin Phiri, who happens to be the chairperson for Kalikiliki Youth Movement. Martin, welcome to your platform.
You're welcome.
Share with us. I'm just from talking to the members of the vibrant youth movement of Kalikiliki. I'm sharing with me some of the challenges that they face, and among them is drug and alcohol abuse, among others. Now, as the chairperson of this vibrant youth movement, where do you think is the problem with all these challenges?
The problem started a long time ago when they were giving plots, because they never think about youths. The challenge was that they never think about recreation centers, hence making it difficult. They used to have platform where to do some activities. That's why our youths are complaining that here we have challenges for recreation, because to us as youth I found that creation is the main problem and that's the challenge, because youths, they have decided now to do things which are abnormal, but you know, abnormal, when you leave it for a long time it becomes normal. That's why I find that alcohol and drug abuse has been abused for a long time, and to youths it's normal. But we as an organization, we are trying our best by engaging our fellow youths on the dangers and the impact which drug and alcohol abuse is all about.
How vibrant is your organization in fighting the scourge of drug and alcohol abuse and also early marriage? Somebody did share that there is also a component of early marriage in Kalikiliki.
Here in Kalikiliki, we like schools. We don't have a secondary school. We don't have a government school apart from community schools, which are overcrowded. Hence, what we are doing as a vibrant youth movement, we are engaging those community schools as well. We try to do our outreach because of limited resources. We also do limited things, but we are planning that we need to mobilize more youths through our local councillor, who has promised us that you try by all means to find a place which you help us to create a recreation center.
Looking at the setup of Kalikiliki compound, it is somewhat unplanned. Now you talked about of lack of social facilities, recreational facilities such as playing fields. You only have one, I understand that. Have you identified a place where some of these facilities should be built?
Yes, we have only one place here in Kalikiliki, which is a transmitter area. But we are owned and being told that it's a government state land. Since it's a government state land, to us it's a plus. The government should come to our aid by giving that land to the community so that we can build a school, we can build a hospital, we can also build a creation center, because it's about if not mistaken, 4 to 5 hectares of land which is dormant.
Now there is a project, Child and Youth Friendly Cities, being implemented by Africa Directions in partnership with Plan International Zambia. How well do you think this will help you address some of these challenges that you are facing as youths of Kalikiliki?
Yes, youth and child friendly has helped us a lot, in a sense that it is the platform which has helped us to engage these stakeholders such as our councillor, our officer in charge, and so many other stakeholders, because these people, they have managed to create a platform where youths and stakeholders meet, share ideas, and see how far we can go helping our communities.
Thank you so much, Martin, for your time, and I hope you succeed in your quest to bring development to Kalikiliki through Youth's Project.
Thank you very much.
You are still watching Your Platform, a program that gives you an opportunity as members of the public to have views on matters affecting you. Today on the program, we are looking at the Child and Youth Friendly Cities project being implemented in 3 townships in Lusaka, Chibolya, Mtendere and Kalikiliki. This time around, I'm joined by Africa Directions Executive Director Mark Chilongo, who is coming from an organization that is implementing the project. Mark, welcome to Your Platform.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to be on the platform.
Thank you so much. For starters, what is this project all about?
Well, the Child and Youth Friendly Cities project is a 3-year intervention that is being implemented in 5 African countries, and Zambia being one of them. So the project is being implemented in other countries, Zimbabwe, in Harare, and then we have Monrovia in Liberia, we have Freetown, and then we also have Lusaka, as well as Dakar in Senegal. So we have these 5 African countries implementing the same project. And here in Zambia, like you rightly put it, we are implementing it in 3 communities, Chibolya, Kalikiliki and Mtendere. And basically before we even focused on these areas, we looked at first and foremost the vulnerability of the young people and children in these 3 communities, and that was basically through the urban assessment that we did to try and find out what are the issues that can make Lusaka a child and youth, that are actually hindering Lusaka not to be a child and youth friendly city. So through the urban assessment, that's where we discovered that there were issues to do with recreation, there were issues to do with bad drainage system, and you agree with me that even during this rainy season, Lusaka really has a very bad drainage system, and we are happy that the government is actually making strides to make sure that they address that issue. We also have issues to do with waste management. I think for us, waste management also has been one of the issues that came out of the urban assessment, and we also know that one, it has something to do with the local authority to try and see how best they can manage that, but at the same time it also has an issue to do with attitude.
Of these thematic areas that you've talked about, from the interviews that I've had with the youths of from these 3 communities, what seems to be coming out more often is the issue of lack of recreational facilities, and which is leading to abuse of alcohol and drugs. Where are you coming in to address this?
Okay. As Africa Directions, first and foremost, this project, we are running it under the development objective of fighting urban poverty and exclusion, and also by contributing to making sure that Lusaka becomes a child and youth friendly city, and ensuring that children and young people actually actively participate in shaping their urban environments. So really, indeed, when the young people bring out the issue of recreation, it is because the young people feel it themselves, and the young people are able to see it themselves. And you will agree with me that most of our communities, many of the places that are there are more bars than churches. There is no space for young people to play, and that has a huge effect on their development. So basically, indeed, what the young people are saying and what we as Africa Directions have been advocating for is that young people need recreation. If you want to make young people actively shape their environments, you need to create a space for them to play, a space for them to innovatively think about how they can shape the environment. You need a space for them to see how best they can contribute to the governance of their communities. So basically, this is an issue, and this is a very serious issue. If we are to make Lusaka a child and youth friendly city, we need to create spaces for recreation.
I know you are implementing this project in partnership with the Plan International Zambia. What activities have you lined up for this project in the next 3 years?
Well, we are actually continuously doing that. One of the activities that we've lined up is to continuously build capacity of youth groups and community-based organizations in issues to do with governance, in issues to do with active citizenship, and also ensuring that young people actually play a pivotal role in ensuring that their communities are actually safe, their communities are well managed, and also be the watchdogs of what is going on within their own community. The other one that we've been doing is actual garbage collection. You will note that young people tend to watch things happen in their own communities. And what we realize is that it is best that we begin to catch the young people young by ensuring that we involve them in actual garbage collection. And that is why we've been doing that in Kalikiliki, we did that in Chibolia, we did that in Mtendere, and we want to continuously do that. And I must be quick to mention that we as an organization, we are very happy and proud that our Republican President, His Excellency President Edgar Chagwa Lungu, actually took it upon himself by directing the men in uniform to try and ensure that they support the cleaning process of our Lusaka. And for me, it is not just about the cholera issue. And I think for us as an organization is that we want to see to it that Lusaka remains clean. And Lusaka becomes a hub for cleanliness, a hub where young people can grow, young people can enjoy their rights without being affected by any environmental hazards such as cholera or any other issue. So we are very glad about that.
In brief, as we close, what are some of the challenges are you facing in implementing this project?
Well, one of the challenges that we are facing is that we really want government support in addressing this issue, because we ourselves cannot manage to make Lusaka a child and youth-friendly city, so we need political will. Political will will mean that when we extend invitations for our activities, for our leaders like our ministers and all that, they should be able to be there to give us the support that we need. We are grateful that the Ministry of Local Government and Housing through the Lusaka City Council has actually been sending some representatives to see what we are doing, but we think as an organization there's more to it that can be done. And also ensuring that whenever we are carrying out these activities, we call upon the corporate world also to come on board and try and help in shaping these environments by providing recreational spaces for young people. I think the corporate world are making a lot of money in our country, and it is important that whenever they are thinking about corporate social responsibility, they should be able to think about recreation for young people, so that young people who are the future customers of their products can be able to grow in a healthy environment, in an environment that can make them who they should be.
Thanks so much, Mark, for your time.
Yeah, and it's been raining, so it's been a good interview. Thank you very much.
And there you have it. This is where we come to the end of this week's edition of Your Platform, where we've been looking at the Child and Youth Friendly Cities project being implemented in 3 places in Lusaka, namely Mtendere, Chibolia, and Kalikiliki. I have been your host, Mark Fason Mukuka, on behalf of my camera person, Annex Tembo. Be sure to join us next week for yet another exciting Your Platform program. For now, it's goodbye and God bless you.